Hello, and welcome to another episode of Athena's Ethics Short Takes, where we take a look at topics of importance to the ethics and compliance community. And I'm Susan Frank Divers, an advisor to Ethena, the coolest training company in the world. And I'm delighted today to be able to talk about something that's really been in the news significantly over the past year, and I think will continue to be, and that's the use of AI. And specifically in the ethics and compliance community, there are numerous warnings and worry about its use. Some leading organizations are forging ahead with innovative risk and compliance solutions that enhance their ethics program effectiveness. Others are still on the sidelines worrying about what are the guidelines and the guardrails that they need to implement. So I'm very lucky today to have Adam Ennamli with me, who is the Chief Risk, Compliance and Security Officer of the General Bank of Canada. And Adam is deeply experienced in managing risk and cyber and compliance. He's a member of the Forbes Technology Council, and last month was recognized by Compliance Week for his work on AI in ethics and compliance. Adam, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Susan, for having me.
Great. So we're going to start off with 3 rapid-fire questions where you have to answer yes or no, or you could do a maybe.
Sure.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Using AI to conduct internal controls audits can save significant time and resources, as well as improve the accuracy of the audits.
Yes, 100%.
Second, your business leaders embraced using AI to design new compliance training and participated in its development and launch.
Yes.
And third, when working with AI, the most important guardrail to implement is the prompts that you use to train your model.
I would say maybe.
Maybe. Great. Well, let's jump in because I really want to hear what you have to say.
Sure.
So let's look at the first one. Can you tell me what you've done with AI when you're conducting internal controls audits at your bank?
Absolutely. So we did start with micro use cases, if you will, essentially looking at the design effectiveness, using AI to basically rebuild all the different processes and understanding different controls, and essentially do the walkthrough of the process from a design perspective. And then after that, we start looking at operating effectiveness. That's where the data comes in. We started using the power of AI to plow through all the internal control data, detecting patterns of control failure, and essentially not only establishing what's the level of severity of those control failures, but also the predictability of those failures happening again. So not only now we are reactive, but also proactive in the future when it comes to the repeatability of any control failure. And the magic happens in terms of numbers. Before, we were able to do a control testing exercise within 6 months. Now we are able to do that within a few days. Of course, that includes design effectiveness, operation effectiveness. We are still looking into human oversight at every step of the way because we don't want to let that go. But as soon as our models are strong enough, essentially to be semi-autonomous, we will reduce a little bit of that human oversight and keep it for the high-risk areas. But for now, we do have very strong efficiency gains. We were able to unlock a lot of value and reuse it for creativity and for looking into other use cases with the use of AI as well.
And Adam, just how long did it take you to get that up and running? Because it sounds like an amazing system, particularly the predictive aspects of it.
Absolutely. So it took 18 months. There was a lot of data cleaning, if you will. Like it's not rocket science. The problem with AI is not the AI itself. It's really what you put in it. And that's the data. So there was a lot of data review, data cleaning, data structuring to be able to use those models. And that's where the secret is. Not in the models themselves. We do have a lot of off-the-shelf models, a lot of homegrown models that can be used. It's really all about the quality. That's why we start with micro use cases, and then we scale that to full processes that are end-to-end. Again, we're still in the experimental phase. We want to use AI in production for all our control testing by next year, but we do have very encouraging results so far.
That's very impressive. Well, let's turn, since we're doing a rapid fire podcast, let's turn to training. As we both know, that's always a pain point for organizations. And I remember when we were talking about this earlier that you've used AI to design better training and also to get buy-in from your management team. Can you tell us how you did that and what that looks like?
Absolutely. So we started, unfortunately, from a place where it was very difficult to do worse, which is the
Wow.
traditional world of training. There was a lot of sessions that would take hours, mainly trainer to trainee, one-way monologues, a lot of generic content, outdated content as well from a technology perspective. And we did basically reduce all of that to almost zero. And we started redesigning the playbook when it comes to training and looking at adaptive experiential learning rather than generic out of the box content. And essentially, we used AI to incrementally design situational scenarios for each role. So now it's role based. That's the first thing. Second thing, it's more of a dialogue rather than a monologue. So essentially, it's trainee to trainee. The trainee dialogues with AI in terms of asking questions, learning exactly what they need to learn, and building on that into a scenario that can be reproduced. And then third, it's also micro-learning oriented, meaning that the dialogues won't take more than 5 minutes. The results are very interesting because they can master a concept in 5 minutes, but if you put them through the same conceptual training with the old ways, if you will, they wouldn't master the concepts. Like we would test their knowledge through both ways, and the results would be much better with the 5 minutes nuggets, if you will, of experiential dialogue. The other thing is that, yes, there is more complexity that is introduced because now it's role based, and we do have tens of roles at the bank, but we use AI to convert that complexity into categories that can help us essentially increase the currency of the content and its precision. So for us, it's more about currency, precision, and results rather than ease to manage. And that's the trap where a lot of practitioners will fall. They will think that a good training program is a program that is easy to manage, and they will forget about what are the outcomes that we're trying to generate from that. And the outcomes are always better knowledge within the company and better retention of that knowledge.
And I would imagine that your management is very pleased with that, and you're not getting a lot of complaints about the training. Is that correct?
Exactly. I mean, the one element is lean, right? I think that helps. Before we used to requisition, if you will, there tens of people for a day of one-way monologue, as I was mentioning, like hours of theory that wouldn't necessarily translate into anything, and then there would be an opportunity cost for the time that they were essentially mobilized for the training. Now we don't have that anymore. It's really on-the-job training, very short, very straight to the point, and very adapted to the person. Now at some point we're going to start also looking into gamification, which is incentivizing taking those trainings and have an additional element of interactivity there that can help. And that's also supported by management. Management wants their their workforce to be doing what they're supposed to be doing the maximum of time possible, and that's what this training philosophy supports.
Let's turn to the last question. What guardrails should people really focus on if they're trying to follow in the kind of path that you've chosen of using AI for things like audit and training?
Certainly. So I will drill down on my maybe. So again, as mentioned, the first guardrail is essentially data governance. It's all about the data, where you start, the amount of data, the quality of that data, the accessibility of that data, and its reusability. Because if you have transactional data that you use over and over, you'll start to see patterns that repeat themselves, and you don't want that. You want to have enough to generate medium to long-term predictability. So first is the data and the governance around it. Two is the validation. I think having a very strong, serious validation in place helps you understand the model better. So there is explainability, there is absence of bias, there is also the ability to monitor the performance of the model so that when it drifts away, you know now rather than later, and it will drift away. It's just a matter of time. But knowing that ahead of time and being able to revalidate as you go is the key, is the guardrail. And then third, I would say having human oversight at every step of the way for now, until we have full confidence, full repeatability of the results and the outcomes. And then finally, if I may, there is the audit trail. A lot of people overlook this, but I think if you have audit trail for everything, investigations will be easier, will be faster, and will be more fair. Because things will go wrong, you just don't want to start speculating about why they went wrong. Having audit trail data is essential to protect everyone, including your mom.
I hope that you'll come back in a couple of months and let us know how it's going.
Absolutely, anytime. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Adam.